Hi everyone, this is Samantha Rowe from SATA, and we're thrilled to welcome you to today's live stream webinar where you will once again meet the experts. Today we're focusing on Gmail and how to get the most out of your virtual office supplies. At SATA, we've designed these weekly sessions to offer our deep expertise to you as we all work together in our remote environments, because there's always something we can learn using our collaboration tools in our daily lives. This series, called Sweet Bits, showcases our incredible SATA experts and provides some much needed how-tos around the capabilities of the G Suite portfolio. I learn something new every single week. We hope these sessions will empower you too. You can submit your questions to today's presenter at any point by clicking the link in the description below and typing your questions. We'll get to your questions at the end of the presentation. These recordings will be available following the live stream on our remote workforce hub called Cloud Quarters, a new section of our website complete with a growing collection of productivity and collaboration resources just for you. Heather will talk more about it at the end of her session. I would now like to introduce our expert for today's session, Heather Summers, Digital Transformation Manager at SATA. Let's get learning, Heather.
Thank you, Samantha. Appreciate that intro. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to our presentation. So thank you so much for joining. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining our presentation. My name is Heather Summers, and we're going to do Meet the Experts, Gmail Embrace your virtual office supplies. As those of you who haven't met me, I am the Digital Transformation Manager here at SATA, and I help you to expand your G Suite footprint and use all the tools inside of the G Suite Productivity Suite. We're going to go ahead and talk about customizing your Gmail, how to clean your inbox, look at all the tools in the Gmail toolset, and then we're going to talk about using Google Keep and using tasks. I'm going to go ahead and jump into our demo. So here's my email account. This is our sandbox that we use for training. And over here on the right-hand side, you can see the help is right here with the question mark and the circle. And under this help, you have training and help. Now, I normally direct you to the training because this walks you through how to use the application step by step. But today I'm going to point you toward the help where you can ask specific questions of the product and get answers. We're going to go into our settings, which is right underneath my company logo, to the settings gear. Here inside of this settings gear, I have a lot of options in here, also the help. I'm going to go right into my settings. Now, in our last Gmail class, we talked about this first general settings. Now we're going to go into what's called the advanced settings. So down here at the bottom, it says advanced, and we're going to click into the advanced settings. Here inside of the advanced settings is all the different options that you can turn on. So the first one's called auto advance. So when you delete an email, it automatically brings up the next one. I've gone ahead and enabled that. Under templates, this used to be called canned responses, and now they call it templates. And what this allows you to do is if you have multiple signatures for your account, you can go ahead and set up a template for that to have different responses to emails. Also, if you constantly respond a certain way, you can have a template for that. You have your custom keyboard shortcuts in here, the right side chat, and then unread message icon. Today, we're really just going to talk about the first two, auto advance and templates. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom, and any changes that you make, you'll have to save at the bottom. So let me make a change so you can see what that looks like. You'll go back into your settings, and we're going to go back to the settings gear and go to settings. And this time we're going to talk about what's called offline. This 100%. Okay. I'm going to go to offline right here. And inside of your offline, you can set up your email for this offline mode. So what this does is it saves your emails into your actual Chrome browser, and we can have that refresh every time you get back onto Wi-Fi if you want, or you can keep them in the browser. So we're going to check that box. And then down here are the two options I just told you about. So if you want to keep that offline data on your computer inside the Chrome browser, you can check the first box. If you want to remove offline data from your computer, you can check the second box and remember to save the changes. Now to access that, you just have to go to mail.google.com and you can access your email just like you would if you were online. This is great for being on an airplane or any other circumstances that you might find yourself in. We're now going to go ahead and set up some templates. So if I click on Compose, this is going to bring up my email. And down here in the bottom right-hand corner under Options, you're going to find what's called Templates. Now there's lots of things inside of here. I can label items before I even start an email. I can request a read receipt. I can do plain text mode, print, check my spelling, and so forth. But we're going to go ahead and go to templates, and I want to create a new template, so I have to go ahead and set this up. So I'm going to go ahead and call this reset password, and I'm going to take out my name, and I'm going to go up here to the top and just say Gmail reset password. This is something I put in here a lot, so I've already got it in my search, and you can see here is the help file. I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and I'm going to right click and copy. And now I'll just paste it right into my email. You may or may not have noticed I took out my signature first. And the reason why I did that is so that it doesn't constantly repeat my signature every time I do a message. So now I've put the message in there. I'll go to the bottom right-hand corner to the three little dots, and I'll go to templates. And then I'm going to save draft as template, and I'll say save as template. And that's going to call it reset password, and now I can save. Now, what I love about this is anytime it has any links, it's going to save those links here inside of my template. I'm going to go ahead and delete this message, and I'll start a new message. And I'm going to send this to Corbett and Nikki, who are helping me today. And here is my message, resetting your password. And then now I'm going to engage that template by going to the three little dots, which is the vertical ellipses. Go to my templates, go to save as draft, and then now over here on the left-hand side, it says reset password, and I don't want to overwrite it. I want to use it. So reset password, and now it's inserted that document right in here. And I can just keep using that over and over again. So you can see how you could do this for different signatures and so on. If you want to get rid of a template, it's just as easy. You'll go back to those three little dots, go to your templates, go to delete template down here at the bottom, and then click on the template that you wish to delete. If you need to update a template, you would go to save as draft and then overwrite that template with your updates. So I'll go ahead and delete that. And then now I want to show you a way that you can go ahead and organize your email. So over here on the right-hand side, under that settings gear is what's called Configure Inbox. Configure Inbox. Now this is set up by Google initially. So if I go to social and promotions, updates, and forums, these will all have things that are inside of them that Google has thought fall underneath those different items. I like to customize mine to do what I want. So if you look under primary, you can see in the examples what is being caught in that particular tab. Under social, you can see that, promotions, updates, and so forth. I personally as you saw from my introduction, I was a Microsoft Office trainer before, and so I have a lot of my Microsoft Office traits. And one of the traits was that my calendar invites, I don't like to see them. So I like to put those under updates. And so how I set that up is I went to updates. I took everything out of updates and I put it into primary, and that will start you with a brand new slate. And now I'm going to tell Google what I think should be in updates. So I went to primary and I looked for anything that had a calendar invite. So here you can see my calendar, and I went to updates and just stuck it in there. And it says, hey, anything that says notifications at google.com, calendar dash notifications, do you want to go in there? And yes, I do. So I'd click on the yes. And now all those future things will go under updates. Now I have to do this a couple times for Google to learn. So it doesn't happen immediately. You kind of have to teach it. If you want to kind of fast track this, what you could do is create what's called a filter. So a little fun fact is ICS will capture all the calendar related items. And here under ICS, you can see that I have all my calendar stuff inside of here. So now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and click on the down arrow here, and I'm going to say create filter. It's right next to the search button in the lower right hand corner. When I go to create filter, I'm going to tell it to automatically put those things inside of a category, which in this case, I'm going to call updates. And I want it to do all the past emails. So I'm going to check that box. Now I can skip the inbox. I can mark them as red. I can do other things within here, but I'm only going to do those two. And I'll go ahead and say create filter. Okay, so now what I'll do is I will go to my inbox, and now you should see my updates will start appearing here inside of the updates tab. So I may have to again just catch those and make sure they're going in the right place, but that way I can get them. And then the same thing, I can come to this notifications one, I can come up here and I can say filter messages like these. And you can do that for LinkedIn invites, all kinds of stuff that you are wanting to put into those different tabs. You'll do those three little dots, go to filter messages like these, go to create filter, do what I did before. We're going to call this updates, matching conversations, and create that filter. And then this will learn and put all of those things under the updates tab. And this can help you clean out your email and be a little more efficient with your email organization. So the next thing we're going to do is now we're going to look at composing an email and some of the features that are inside of an email. So if I click on compose over here on the left, you see my email open, and there's some features inside of here. So I'm going to go ahead and send this to Nikki and say hello. And we went ahead and created a template earlier, so I could use one of my other templates here. And we're going to just say new customer email. And here, what we can do is do a couple different things. If this was confidential, we have a confidential button down here at the bottom. So for my healthcare customers, if you go down here to our action toolbar, you can see this little lock with a clock on it, and you can go ahead and set up your confidential mode. Now, I can do the pre-done dates of a day, a week, a month, 3 months, and 5 years. Now, what this does is it expires the email after that, so it will disappear from their inbox. You can go ahead and have no passcode, or you can set up a passcode if you'd like that will be generated and sent to them. Now, you can see it expires on the May 14th. I can edit that information and so forth. Now, the other option that we have inside of here is you also have a delayed send. So for me, I work a lot of times in crazy hours, and it will ding those people's mobile phone at 5 in the morning when I'm working. So that other people don't think I'm insane, I schedule my emails. So here you can go to this little down arrow next to the send button, and you can click schedule send. Schedule send. And what that does is allow you to schedule when you're going to send that message. So I could do it tomorrow at 8 a.m., or I can pick a date and time and click here, and then I can go ahead and schedule that sending of that email. And so it'll do it tomorrow at 1:14 a.m. Oh, I scheduled it for Monday. Never mind, at 1:14 a.m. If you want to see where that scheduled email is, it's over here on the left where it says scheduled, and you can always pick that up. The other thing that we have inside of here is those three little dots is you can request a read receipt. So if you need to have a read receipt, you can request it here when you send the email also. Now, inside of your emails, there's some options too. So here I've got an email and I've thanked this person for their calendar invite. And so now I want to do some other stuff with this email. So on this action toolbar up here at the top, you can see some different things that we can do. So we can archive the message. We can go ahead and report it as spam. We can delete that message, mark it as unread, but notice this button. It looks very similar to the other button, right, of scheduling an email. This is called Snooze. It does something a little different. What this one does is it will snooze it from your inbox. So there's a book called Getting Things Done by David Allen. And his advice was that if you can't handle an email within 20 seconds, then you should schedule a time to come back to it and do it at that time. So I can snooze it by clicking snooze, and I can say later today, or I can pick a particular date and time. So I'm going to say 10 a.m. and go ahead and save that. And then it will disappear from my inbox. It will go over here on the left-hand side into snoozed, and then it will come back into my inbox at that time. So you can always snooze it and unsnooze it if you don't want to snooze it, and then it will go back into your email when you've done that. So that is the snooze button. The other thing you can do is add to a task. So this is talking about an invite and we have a meeting. So I can go ahead and click this button, which is the check mark with the plus, and I can go ahead and add this to my tasks. When I add it to my task, it actually embeds the email in there. And if I click on the pencil, I can add a date and a time to complete the task. So I picked the 8th and said 9 a.m. I'm going to click OK. So this now has added a date and a time, and I have the embedded email in there. The other thing you can do is add this to what's called Keep. This is our other product, and you'll notice these are on the right-hand side. So we have a calendar, we have Google Keep, and we have tasks. So if I go to Google Keep and go ahead and open that up here at the top, you can say take a note, and that will just take a note without any checkboxes. If I go on the right and do the little checkbox, it will embed that email and give me a list here. Things to order. And then obviously I need sodas and food for our meeting. So this is called Google Keep, and it allows you to add those items in here. The last things I want to show you is the more here. So on this action toolbar, on the far right, you see the three little dots. And here you can go ahead and mark as unread, mark as not important, remove a star. You can create an event from here, which I showed you in the last Gmail class. And then you can filter messages like these. And then the last one is called mute. So a lot of times in our office, we'll order lunch, and we're going to order lunch today at Jason's Deli. As people order, they're replying to all, and it gets to you. So I say, okay, I've ordered. Now I want to mute this email, and it will no longer come into my inbox anymore. Now, this has bitten me before. So if you come over here in the left-hand side and go under more and all mail, you'll see in here that same message, and it will say muted next to it, and you can unmute the message at that point. Okay, a lot of messages in here. So let me go ahead and type label muted so you can see it, and then there's the message right there. And if I want to unmute the message, all I have to do is exit out of this label, or I can go over here to the ellipses and go to unmute. And you can unmute that message. So hopefully that helps a little bit, some ways to organize your email. And if you didn't check out our last email session, we did talk in that one about how to do filters and labels in great depth, so you can refresh your memory looking at that one and checking that one out. If you want to see your tasks or reminders on your calendar, you can go here to the apps launcher and go to calendar through there to check those out. I want to go ahead and make sure we take some questions now. So I'm going to go to our questions and see what kind of questions we could be talking about. So, why use tabs instead of labels? Great question. Uh, it's just a preference level, as a lot of people love labels, and I too myself like labels. But the problem with labels sometimes, and it's not really a problem in this email account, but I've seen people get to the point where they have thousands of labels and they're not really using them effectively. The other thing is this can help you with not seeing emails you don't want to see. So it's a clean inbox methodology in the sense that, as I said before, I don't want to see those calendar invites. So putting those into updates, I won't have to deal with them and they would automatically go into my updates. And then if I needed to see them, I could look at them. This is true of LinkedIn requests. So another way that you can get rid of stuff. How can I share my templates with others who need them? They will need the most updated versions. Great question. There is no way to share your templates through Gmail. What I've seen a lot of people do is they go ahead and save them into their drive and then keep a folder inside of Drive. So, for instance, if I wanted to use that template that you saw before of the new customer email, I can go ahead and send this to myself and then I would go ahead and save it to my Google Drive. And the way that you can do that is over here on the right-hand side, you can go ahead and download the message or print the message. If you go to the printer here, you can see in my printer, there's an option to save it to the Google Drive. And that's how I keep up my templates with my colleagues. So we all use the same templates. We save it on Google Drive. I've shared that Google Drive folder with the team. And then now we can all access those templates. But great question. Can I rename tabs in the inbox? Unfortunately, it does not allow you to rename them using these tabs here. There are some Chrome extensions that allow you to do that, and I've seen people use those before. So make sure you're using the Gmail tabs. And not tabs for the actual Chrome browser. These are called tabs too when you look at those Chrome extensions. So great question. Is there a way to put external or internal for an email so users know if the email comes from outside the company or not? Yes, so I've seen this before. That's done in the admin console is they can go ahead and look for those through there. So great question. And a great way for your admin to flag those messages. Is there, if you have a read receipt, will I be notified when the person reads my email? So that is something that we have been asked about before. Uh, there is a message that comes per se, but not the kind of notification that you're thinking about. I foresee that coming in the future, though. Where can I find emails I've muted? Oh, okay. So if you go over here to the left-hand side, go under More and go to All Mail, they'll appear inside of here. But if you don't remember when you muted it, if you do what I did before, type in label, colon, muted, you'll find all the muted emails that way. So great question. That is what I just did as a search operator. And if you go to the help and go over here to help and type in search operators, this will show you all the different search operators that we have inside of Gmail and help you with finding other messages that you're looking for, not just muted messages. So FYI, you can open it in a new window and so forth, but it's called search operators in Gmail, and you can find that in the help. Can I recall emails that I've sent? Great question. Unfortunately, we don't have a recall function like we did inside of Outlook. If you go into the settings gear and go to settings, we have something called uh, undo. So if you come in here and look, you'll find a time. There it is, undo send. And I call it my oops window. So by default, it usually is at 5 or 10 seconds. And 5 seconds is really fast. So I always pump mine up to 20 seconds. And then you can go ahead and save the changes. But how it works is if I click on compose and type in Nikki, and then do undo, I can go ahead and send this. And over here on the left, this black box appears. If I click undo, it snags that email before she receives it, and then I can do what I want to do. But one of the things about recall, if you remember, is because of mobile devices, people had always opened up that email before you were able to undo it. So this one doesn't ever reach the sender. It gives you that little buffer time, and then you can go ahead and undo it. How many times does it happen where we get huge mail chains with 45 to 50 emails, and then it takes a long time to open? How can we navigate the chain quicker? Oh, great question. So, what you can do is go to the settings gear and go to settings, and you can actually turn off our thread. So, inside of Outlook, it was called conversation threads. Here, we just call it conversations. And you can turn those on and off. So, if you scroll down, you can see conversation view here, and you can turn conversation view off, and those emails will load up quicker and faster for you in that extent. And this is actually really smart. So you can turn this on and off, and it remembers that conversation thread. So great way for you to be able to navigate those long conversation threads. This is the last question. Is there a way to make your inbox show all mail by default? Oh, excellent question. Unfortunately, no, it's always going to go into your inbox. But down here at the bottom where you see the all mail is I can drag this up to the top here, and you can see now it's right there. And then I can then go and look at it at any time by clicking on it. Now, the most exciting thing about all mail is it's a little bit of a paradigm shift inside of Outlook. Um, that you all your email actually went into your inbox. Here it actually goes into the all mail and then gets labeled with this inbox label. The reason why that's important is when you search, it actually looks inside of all mail. So if you look down here at search, you can see it looks in the all mail, not in your inbox. So it's able to find messages quicker, faster, smarter because of that. And if you click here, you can actually narrow that search down to the inbox, starred, sent, trash, spam, and so forth if you're not finding it in your search the first time. So, great question though. I haven't gotten that question before about can I have it default to all mail? So, thank you so much for those great questions. That was really exciting. Uh, I wanted to just remind you that you will get a recording of this session. So, thank you so much. And if you do have a question, I'll tell you at the end how you can submit those questions if I didn't answer them. I wanted to thank everybody for coming, but we do these every Thursday. We call it Done by the Experts because we're going to have other people besides myself do these presentations, but there's all kinds of information on our Cloud Quarters site. Our next session is on Thursday, May 14th, and we'll be doing Google Slides that time. And it's at 10 a.m. Pacific time and 1 p.m. Eastern. I also wanted to remind you about a promotion that's going on by Google. It's called the Google Meet promotion. And in this, it gives you Google Meet, Chat, and Drive. So if you're not currently on G Suite, we definitely encourage you to try out the product. It's going to be free until September 30th. Some of the things that we've been showing you will be available to you when you get onto the platform. And if you need help with that, SADA has created what's called the Google Meet Quick Start offer, and we can get you up and running in a matter of days. So definitely reach out to us if you're interested in this at all. On behalf of myself and the family and team at SADA, we just want to thank you so much for joining us today. As I said, following today's live stream, you will receive an email with a link to our Cloud Quarters website with a recording of this live stream video and relevant information of how you can maximize your productivity and collaboration for your new remote work day, right? So we will also include a link with a survey where you can provide feedback on these sessions and ask additional questions, again, if I didn't answer your question, and suggest ideas for future live streams. So if we're not covering topics that you're interested in, please give us that feedback. We want this to be for you. On behalf of myself and the team at SADA, thank you again. I have such a pleasure doing this with you guys, and I can't thank you enough for coming. I feel like I have been given a gift. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.